I think that is, yeah, it's recording.
It's recording now.
Yeah. So, this is for memories from childhood days. Oh, I better sit over here. Oh no, I can't sit over there. Memories from childhood days, and I was going to ask you if I put a chair there somewhere.
Yeah.
Could be in the shot as well, can't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's this at? Right.
Hey.
I'll get that out of the way for when you're coming past. If you have to come past, Dad, I'll shift that.
I'll be alright. I'll fly over it.
Yeah, still seems slightly wrong because I'm at a weird angle to you, but never mind. I'm going to do this bit of recording, Mum, for a few minutes, if that's all right. Of talking about childhood days.
Yeah.
So, who's first then? Who can think of, what's your earliest recollection of playing outside with, the children? How old would you be when you...
How old would I be?
Yeah, when you can actually remember it.
Yeah. The children meaning...
Yeah, yourselves and your brothers or sister or whatever.
My earliest memory is we had an air raid shelter in our garden. The one with just a metal dome, corrugated iron roof. And just a hole in the ground really with some seats in.
Is that the Anderson shelters?
Yeah, Anderson shelter, yeah. And we were playing, Bar and I would be about 2 and our brothers would be about 4. And the boys were pushing us down the slide, which was the curvature of the corrugated iron. And Bar fell and broke her leg. And that wasn't very popular.
Sorry, I feel weird sat there when I'm talking to you.
Right, yeah.
I'm going to put that back over there. That's more comfortable for me. I think I'm out of the shot, but never mind.
Yeah.
So she fell and broke her leg?
Yeah, she broke her leg.
Getting into the air raid shelter?
No, the boys were, Barry I think it was, wanted her to go faster sliding down the outside, the dome.
Oh, right.
So they were on the back side of the Anderson shelter, and I was waiting for my turn, and Bar was sat on the top. I mean, the boys had to sit her on there and push her, so because she wouldn't just slide on her own. It wasn't that slippery.
No.
In fact, she probably didn't even move, poor kid. And so they pushed her, but Barry pushed her. But of course, he thought she would just slide down.
Yeah.
Be all right.
But she
It's not very high.
Mm.
And anyway, she didn't. She broke her leg. She fell awkwardly, and Mum was in the bath. Mum was having a bath whilst the kids were safe. And Barry or Mick, I don't know which one of the boys, but they weren't even 5. They were about 4. And they had to. Mark had to carry Michael had to carry Bar in to Mum because of course she was crying and her leg was
Robert
hurt.
wasn't there at the time then?
No, he was at school.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and and Mum had just got out of the bath fortunately, so she was able to quickly put a coat on, something quick on, not properly drying herself. And she had to take her down to the doctor.
Yeah, it was actually broken. Did she have a cast?
I don't know how we got down to her. She must have put us in the pram, I suppose, to take us to the doctor. Anyway, she ended up having to have her leg in plaster.
No.
So the thing that upset her more than anything was that she wasn't allowed to go out and play in the garden with the kids. That's meant me and the boys.
So that's
for a long time.
2 years old, that's a long way back.
Yeah.
I'm trying to struggle to see if I can remember anything from when I was 2. I'm struggling.
Well, what about when we had the baby, meaning Ralph?
Well, no, there's some saying I can't really. I
Can't remember.
can't be sure of a memory from that age.
Well, I can
You know,
remember
apart
one
from
thing.
being a nuisance that was always crying or something. You know, it's like
Well, yeah,
there's
but
something
why
in
is he crying?
this vague
Well,
recollection.
Yeah, why is he crying? It was only because he wanted some dinner, I said to you. You were standing, he was on the settee, and you were standing, little boy, standing with your legs a little bit apart and your arms like this. And he was lying quite safely, but you were going to catch him.
Yeah, that's me. See,
Paul wasn't.
protective. Paul was trying to push him off and tilt the settee up.
Paul just ignored the fact that he was there.
No,
It
you
was an
thought
irritation.
I was, being brave, but I wasn't actually. I was the catcher. Paul was the tilter, and I was the catcher. It was a good game.
Yeah, but let me see. What did we have? Did we have a kitten, or did we have a puppy when you were small?
So I don't think you ever had a puppy.
No, I don't think
I
we would have had
remember
a puppy.
kittens being about and cats, but I don't remember puppies.
Yeah, but that was another thing that you were doing. You were playing a game with the kitten, throwing it to each other like a ball.
Wasn't that when we were older?
Yeah, you were older then. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, you were older, but you were throwing it to each other. Oh, not for very long.
Yes, well, when you're young, you don't really appreciate those things, do you?
No, of course not.
It's just something else
But
that's
you used to-
entertainment. bit
You
of a
used to
toy.
play lovely together, you two. Even when crawling, you.
Not when he stole my pegs, I didn't. I wasn't happy about when he stole my pegs. Something. That's something that I recall, but I don't really. I don't actually remember it.
No,
It's a story I've been told. You know.
he stole everything and stashed it where you couldn't get, because you weren't crawling yet. He was.
I don't actually remember it at all.
No. Well, he didn't do it. He just was playing with the boss at first or something, and then went back and got the other boss to put the bosses together. It was a game.
Well, you'd given us some pegs to play with.
Well, he didn't take the peg away from you. He only left you with the peg. That was that.
I thought
It
he'd
was one
picked
of these
all
that
my
you could-
pegs, and the only one I was left with was the one I was keeping hold of.
Yeah.
And he'd stolen all the others.
Oh, but you were watching him, the game. You weren't upset by it. You were placid.
Oh, I don't know.
Very
I don't know.
placid.
That's not the way I remember it.
Isn't it?
I don't actually remember.
You don't
I
remember
tease
it.
Paul sometimes about it, but
Yeah, about the peg.
Yeah, stealing all my pegs. I haven't forgiven him yet, I tell him.
I think you only left him with one. In the end.
What about you, Dad?
Yeah.
What's your youngest, when you were youngest, your memory from childhood?
Oh, I've got to go back as far as I can, have I?
Well, if
Yeah.
there's something that you can remember in
Right.
detail.
So that's sitting in the pram, being pushed by mother, and I was not really the prime person to be in this pram. Lydia was. So you got Lydia as the bona fide
Baby.
baby, yeah. Me sitting at her feet
Mm.
somehow on the side of the pram, and Mum pushing, and where were we going? We must have been going up to the we're going up to the school
Taking you to school and you were sitting
on
on
the
the
hill.
pram.
No, it was me that was going to the school. I was being taken up because I was older than Lydia.
Oh yes, you're 4 years older than me.
I suppose it was easier to let you sit on the pram than to hold your hand and
Yes.
push the pram.
Oh,
Grizzling
Just
about
put you on the
hill.
pram and then push the pram.
Quicker.
yeah,
Quicker and easier.
and she did.
Mm.
Mum was very active in those days.
Oh, of
bloody hell.
course she was. Yeah, she'd
God,
be in her 40s.
I never thought when I saw her digging and forking the garden, you just take it for granted, don't you?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
She was working like
that's
a
what
bloody
Mum do when
navvy.
Dads are at work. Yeah.
And of course it was wartime.
Yeah.
So what she was doing was vital
Yeah.
for everything, and
That would actually be during the war, wouldn't it? You're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
So you'd be, I don't know, 5 or 6, I suppose. So
We're
it'd be
born in
towards the end of the
38.
war, I guess. Well, you're talking about school, so you must have been 5.
I must. Well,
Yeah.
school wasn't for me.
Oh,
Who was it for
Could
then?
it be?
must have been for you.
Must have
shouldn't
been.
it?
Would have been when you
Or
first
would it be
started
Bob?
school.
Robert?
Bob was still
Perhaps.
going to school.
But the thing is, the baby in the pram dictates how old you were, really. You're 4.5 years older than she is, aren't you?
So you must have
think
been 5.
Yeah. So you'd be going to school, she'd still be as a little baby in the pram.
Oh yeah,
So you'd be
She's only a bundle
just
of-
started school, I suppose.
coloured clothes.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think it'd be towards the end of the war. That's why I was trying to 1943 or 44
I think
or
that-
that.
Yes.
I think the sort of danger of bombs and stuff
Yeah.
had passed over
Yeah.
because they
What,
couldn't.
what county were you in at that age?
Somerset?
Shropshire,
Shropshire?
You're in Shropshire.
yeah.
Would that be a relatively safe county from bombing in those days?
No,
No?
because well, no.
Oh, they'd go over to Liverpool, wouldn't they?
They were going straight over where
Mm.
we lived. Bastards. And of course, as children, you don't associate. There's some more, Mum.
Mm.
Oh, shut up. I don't want to know. Get in the shelter. And
Exciting, isn't it, as a child?
Oh.
It's something that's out of the ordinary,
Yeah.
exciting.
but it was weird because occasionally you'd see these black specks coming over, and then they develop into aircraft, and then all of a sudden they'd gone over because they were travelling quite fast,
Oh, yeah.
and then you'd hear lots of distant bangs, and they were bombing Liverpool.
Mm.
And so I was told later. And what was it?
Could it have been the British troops firing at the aircraft en route?
There would be
There'd
something
be
of
some
that,
field guns.
but they didn't always want to give away the position of the anti-aircraft guns, because don't forget, just over the hill there was Sleep Airfield,
Yeah.
not Sleep, was it?
Yeah, slave.
Sleep Airfield. And that's where a lot of our fighters took off from. And so, if you heard a siren go, Mum used to look and say, "Can you hear that?" You say, "What?" "I thought I heard a siren," she said. "There's a raid coming, so get in the shed, in the shelter, in the garden, not in the house, in the garden." And so I used to run up the garden and get into this bloody shelter, which was a big hole in the ground,
Yeah.
and a corrugated iron top on it. And we'd all sit down there looking at half-drawn comics and stuff, things that were in pieces. And I look at them, more interested in bloody comics than we were in these sodding bombs.
Yeah.
And yeah, he'd go, and then all of a sudden he'd be looking at one another with starry eyes because one had gone off within sort of,
Earshot. You could hear it.
yeah, and you could
Yeah.
hear it well. And then bloody everything would shake, and you'd think, "Mum, there's no need to shout, Mum," she'd say, and she'd be sitting outside on a bucket. She said, "There's no room for me in there, you just behave." She'd
So she was outside the shelter,
outside the bloody shelter, sitting on a bucket.
and you got children, young children inside the
Yeah.
shelter.
and she would be,
So if the bomb did drop, so he needed the shelter, she would have died.
I don't know, I think she was a good diver in those days. I think
Yeah.
she'd have probably dived in the shelter.
I'm sure she would, because Mum was probably outside in case it dropped on the house
Yes.
and,
Yeah.
you know, crashed the roof in.
Oh,
And
in
killed her
those
there.
days, parents were very protective.
Yeah.
Like in the house, the table was the ordinary table that you'd eat at. I can't remember quite which room it was in, doesn't matter. But it would be upside down or not? Can't remember.
You'd just be underneath it, though.
We were under it, and
Yeah.
the adults had dragged it from somewhere and put it up. I think they put it upside down, I'm not sure.
Couldn't. Well, if it was like ours, it wasn't like the tables of today with cross members.
No,
Is it just the four
legs and
legs,
top
the
and
kitchen table sort of thing?
sturdy things. though.
Very sturdy, yeah.
And yeah, as a child, you're not afraid as much. It's as you grow older, you get more and more scared. And I think that's because you catch glimpses of things.
You know, it becomes more real when you're older.
Yeah,
Mm.
like you're going along, as I said, in the pram.
Mm.
I'd be sitting on the side of the pram, feet in the pram, and the baby, Lydia, asleep probably in the pram, and Mum panting away there, because it was uphill
Yeah.
to where she was heading for, school. And, oh, come on, rain. We'd
Let's reach
we
top.
get there and I can't remember the pertinency of the rest of the story. Why was this
Well, you went to the school on the hill at Clive, so
Oh, yeah,
you
I
had
went
a
to
very
school.
unusual playground, didn't you?
oh, it was. I
Mm.
think if that had been filmed and shown later,
Mm.
I think that would have gone on the main distribution of films for the neighbour, for
Yeah.
the
Government.
congregation. Well, not congregation, I'm not a church.
General public.
General public, yeah. Because our playground, you know, was mainly sand. But it was a big playground. It was about as big as this garden that we can see down to the bottom fence and along there and up here. Well, that's how it appeared. And in it was really great rocks, as big as that couch. And what it was, the farmers had done it for us kids,
Mm.
because you couldn't move the rocks, no way.
Mm.
We couldn't. And they were all dotted about. And the idea of it was